Okay, boys and girls, that. This is Tomo. I'm just kidding. Here we go. Just a quick review. Okay. No, Cookie Monster doesn't talk like that. Cookie Monster. Cookie. Cookie. Or something like that. I don't know. Okay. The first rule that we learned about integer rules is same. This rule tells you if the signs are the same, I'm going to add and keep the signs. So example number 1, we have -4 plus -2. -4 is a negative. -2 is a negative. And since both of them are negatives, I just need to add like if they're regular positive numbers. 4 plus 2 is what? 6. And then I need to keep negative, negative, keep a negative. That's the same rule. Questions? Then to prove that this rule works, I use the number line. Starting from 0, first we lost 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we lost 2 more, 1, 2, and I ended up at -6. That's why the answer is -6. I also use integer chips. We had 4 negatives and 2 negatives. That's a total of 6 negatives. That's rule number 1. When the signs are the same, I add and keep. Number 2, this is the one that worries me the most because kids see that minus symbol and your head's going to want you to subtract. But let me tell you something. This here is a negative symbol that tells you that the 3 is negative. Now the minus tells me that the 2 is a negative situation. If I lose 10 points from my test, is that a positive situation or a negative? Negative. That's why this minus makes that to a what? Negative. So anytime that I have a subtraction symbol, that will make that to a negative situation. Since both of them are negatives, that is same. They're both the same. They're negatives. So the A will remind me to what? Add and keep. So even though you have a subtraction symbol, you might think, oh, sir, but I'm supposed to subtract. By moving to the left, you are subtracting. Okay, you're losing. So, and that's why you're adding more losses, basically. That's why we add and keep, because we're just going one way. So, look what happened here. So just forget about the symbols and just go, what's 3 plus 2? There's the answer. And then negative, negative, keep it what? Negative. Now to prove that it's true, -3, I lost 3, 1, 2, 3. Then you subtract 2. So we're not going to go to the right side. You're actually subtracting, so I'm going to lose 1, 2, which I ended up at what? -5. Now look at the kid, just so you can see it doesn't make sense. The kid that decides to subtract and put the answer of -1. Some of you will let your head take over. You don't want to use my rules. And then this is what's going to happen. You're going to think that this guy is -1 the answer, right? You're going to say, -1 is the answer. Well, let's think about it. If Oliver, sir, stop drawing. Thank you, sir. If Oliver tells the Mom, on reading class, I lost 3 points because I forgot to put my name. Let's pretend. Oliver, you need to put your name. Oh, that's very important, the mom says. No, guess what, Mom? Also in science, I forgot my name, but she's not that mean like the reading teacher. She took away 2 points. Look what he said. He lost what? 3 points, and then he lost 2 points. Mom, by the way, I've only lost 1 point. Does that make sense? That's the kid that decides to subtract and now doesn't want to use my rules. He says 3 minus 2, 1. Mom, I only lost 1 point, Oliver. Oliver's mom's going to think that he's not doing something very good in school. Because how he can say, Mom, I lost 3 points in reading. I lost 2 points in science. I've only lost 1 point, Mom. Does that make sense? No. It's like if my running back loses 3 yards the first down. loses 2 yards the second down, he's going to tell me, sir, I've only lost 1 yard. Does that make sense? No. That's what I'm trying to teach you here. Be careful with that subtraction. That's why I always write my rules, my strategies, write the rule, okay? And then see if it makes sense. You lost three, you lost two, you're going to end up at five. The integer chips, you lost three, you lost two. How many chips do you have? They're all what? They're all what? They're all negatives. And how many? Five. Questions with that one. This is the one that worries me the most because kids are going to call this negative and this guy positive. But the reason that this guy is not really positive because there's a subtraction symbol that makes him a negative situation. Because when they take away things in life, that is negative. If this guy loses 3 pounds because he's exercising now and eating better, which you know you should not lose pounds or you're fine the way you are. Okay, I'm just giving you an example. Um, he's not gonna say, "Oh, I have more pounds." ¿Cómo vas a have more pounds if we just said that you lost 8 pounds because you joined track and you're running a lot now? Do you understand? Subtraction in life means losses, which means negative. Questions? Okay, please be careful with that one. That is still same. And then finally, this one from elementary. We don't really need a rule here. Guys, you know when you need a rule? If you see negatives involved, you better think of a rule. If you see a subtraction symbol, you better think of a rule. If you see negatives, you better think of rules. But if they're all positives, just do it the way you did in elementary. However, if you want to, you can still think of rules. Look, what is the two? Positive. What's the one? Positive. And that means that the signs are the same, and the A will tell you to what? Add and keep. So let me do that. What's five? I mean, two plus one? Three. And then you ended up in three. Let's see why. You first gained two, and then you just gain one extra one. That's three. All the positives were two positives and one positive. They're all in one side. They're all positives. That's why we gain. That's why we add and just keep. We just combine them all. Combining them all, todos juntos. Okay? Do you understand? Questions. Now, last week you should have tried these three by yourself. Hopefully you did. Today you'll have homework that will count for a grade. It will be the emoji of the ghost tomorrow when you come in. You're gonna post it quickly in the computer. Okay? So right now I'll tell you you're gonna work off the journal in a minute. Okay? Okay. I began rule number 2, but I did not explain. I did not draw a number line to justify and check if it makes sense. So I'm gonna do those things today. Okay? So rule number 2. Rule number 2 says if the signs are what? Different. What happens if the signs are different? You will what? Subtract. And which one would you keep? The greatest absolute value. Absolute value is the one that's from what number? The distance from what number? 0. Okay? So let me review that. The 4 is a what? A negative. The 2 is a positive because when we add things in life, that's a positive situation. So there's what? Different. So what's the strategy? This is my strategy. I don't have to write all this. I'll just write diff. Diff will remind you of the word difference from elementary. And when you had difference, what would you do? Subtract. So all you do, you just get 4 minus 2 is what? 2. That's step 1, subtract. Step 2 is keep the greatest. That's the greater than symbol. Absolute value, those are the symbols, the two bars that are vertical like that are the symbols for absolute value. So what's the absolute value of negative 4? How far is 4 from 0? How far is this guy from 0? 4. Not negative, 4. Absolute value is always positive. This distance. How far is 2 from 0? 2. Who has the greatest absolute value? 4. He's farthest from 0. So what symbol is he here? Negative. That's why we keep it what? Negative. To prove that my rule works, we're going to draw a what? A number line. Number lines always justify your answer. So leave a little bit of space on top because we're going to be working on top also. And draw it nice and big. Put 0 in the middle because we're dealing with both positives and negatives. And what's the most that I have to go this way? What's the most that I have to travel based on my equation? How much do I have to travel the most? 2 at least, right? 1, 2, but Mr. likes to do a couple of more just in case. Do you know why 2's? Because what's the only positive there? 2. So I need to travel at least 2, but I like to throw extra. Now, what's the most to travel in the negative world? 4, because that's the most that we will have to travel, -4. So I'm going to go -1, -2, -3, -4. And like I said, I like to throw an extra one. Okay? Questions with how to draw a number line based on your equation. Now, the number line is to justify to see why this is true. Starting at 0, because we always begin at 0, we're going to put a little tick mark. And the first thing that happened on an expression, on an equation, is that 4 is a loss. So we're going to go to the right or to the left? Left. How much do we go to the left? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, i.e. And I like to draw the arrow to show the first move. We went to the left. We lost what? 4. So right now we're at negative what? 4. Now make another tick mark because then we did what? Then we gain 2. When you gain 2, what's going on? You're moving to the right now. So here we go. From 4, I'm going to move to the right 2. 1, 2. So aquí más o menos, aquí voy a meter mi marca. You see, I was at 4, -4, and I went 1, 2. And that's why now the direction is now going to the right. I just gained 2. Did something else happen in this? That's it, right? So guess what? That's your final stop. So we first went 4, then we gained 2, and we stopped at what number? 2 negative. Is that what the answer said? Yes. Now let me tell you why we subtract. Because here's how it works, guys, in life. You see these losses? Every time that you gain something, you're zeroing pairs, you're canceling. Let me explain something. If Evelyn has $1 but loses the dollar, what does she have now? 0. It's a zero pair, that's what it's called. If Fatima owes $5 and then the mom gives her $5, what does she really have? 0. She has 5 0 pairs. You see this 5 that she owes? Pues se lo va a pagar 0 pair. This one that she owes, se va a pagar. This one that she owes, se va a pagar. This one that she owes, se va a pagar. And then finally these, boom, they're all gone. She's back at what? 0. So that's what you're doing here. Yeah, you gained 2, but you owed 4. So you just 0 pair right there, 0 pair, and that's where you landed. Questions? To really show you 0 pairs, we're going to do a T-chart now. There's the integer chip table. Who goes on the left? Do you know why? Because look at the number line. Who's on the left? The negatives. Who goes on the right? Positives. Now, that's my strategy. I mean, in the star, they can flip them. Who cares? Okay? They could put the positives on. But I like to do it this way always because that's the strategy, because it makes sense with the number line. How many negatives do we have in this? 4. So draw 1, 2, 3, 4. How many positives do we have? So draw 1, 2. You see this positive and this negative? 0 pair. It's gone. You see this positive and this negative? 0 pair. It's gone. That's why we subtract, guys, because we're 0 pairing. When we say the rule is to subtract, because we're 0 pairing, we're like paying back what we owe. 1 0 pair, 2 0 pair, so we subtracted 2. That's how we ended up with 2. 2 what? Negatives. Questions? Questions? Bien fácil, right? It's pretty easy. If you follow the rules, it's pretty easy. And the number is just to show you that this rule works. Number 2. We're going to practice a couple of them just so you can see how easy this is. 4 plus -3. Okay. What's the 4 in this story? What's the 3 in this story? And this is called analyzing the information, getting the facts, positive, negative. Based on these facts, what's the strategy? Same or diff? Diff. So póngale aquí. Diff. And what do we do in diff? Subtract. And who do you keep? Who do we keep? The greatest absolute value. This is the strategy, guys. And the more you write it, the more it's going to stay in your head. So let's do it. What's 4 minus 3? Put the 1. That's step 1, subtract. Step 2, keep the highest absolute value. Who has the highest absolute value? The 4 or the 3? 4 has the highest absolute value. And who's there? Positive. So the answer is going to stay positive. Let's prove it now with a number line to see if it stays positive. How much do we have to travel in the positive world at least? Huh? At least 4, right? But we're going to get that extra 1 just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 is good. On the negative world, how much do we have to travel at least? 4. Good. At least 3, but I like to always throw an extra 1. ¿Sí están entendiendo por qué estamos traveling? Porque mira, look at all your numbers. The most that we travel is to the -3, so I'm covering that possibility, but I like to throw an extra 1. And in the positive, we have a 4 and a positive 1, so we need to at least travel to positive 4 and 5. Okay? Questions? Now, where do you start always in a number line? Huh? At 0. So let's put the mark there. And how much do we travel? To the right or the left? Right. Because that's the first number, right? How much did we travel? 4. So hasta aquí, márquelo aquí. Send the flecha para allá. Boom. And that is a plus 4. Then what happened after we traveled 4? We went backwards. Yeah, we're adding, but we're adding negatives, so we have to go the other way. Now we're adding positives, but we would continue going that way. It would be same, add and keep. But because we're adding negatives, we're going to go backwards now. So we're going to put the mark, and we're going to add, but we're adding negatives, so that's why we have to go this way. How much do we go backwards? 3. Now starting from 4, mira, yo lo que le hago así. I'm at 4 right now, and I go 1, 2, 3. Y luego ahí más o menos lo marco. And then send the little arrow to show the direction that you're traveling now. You lost 3. Where did you end up? 1. At the positive world or negative world? Positive. Isn't that the answer? You see? There's no way you're going to end up in the negative world because you only lost what? 3. You were at 4. How much would you have to lose to end in the negative world? 5. I would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to get my 0 pairs, and then an extra 1. Then I end up in the negative world. Now let's prove it with the energy chip table. Who's on the left side? Because negatives are on the left side of 0, and positives on the right side of 0. You see, it's like more review for you. The more you write things, the more it stays in your head. How many positives do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many negatives? 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, do we have 0 pairs? Yes. How many? 3 0 pairs. Mira, aquí está. 1, 2, 3. What's left over? 1, that's what? That's why the answer is positive 1. Do you understand what 0 pairs are? 0 pairs is this. I gain 1, I lose 1, o sea, hace 0. I owe 1, I gain one, se hace zero. Camino para enfrente, me regreso para atrás, I'm back at zero. Camino dos pasos para enfrente, me regreso para atrás, I'm back at what? Zero. That's what zero pairs are. They're canceling each other. I have $1, I spend $1, you're at zero. I owe $1, but then I have $1, I'm back at zero because I owe $1. Questions? Okay, that's example number 2. Your homework is going to be about this. That's why you will have 8 problems. I think it's pretty easy. You can use your journal. You can use the video that I'm recording. Okay. Number 3. This one sometimes confuses the kids. I don't know why, but 3 minus 5. You know what kids want to do? They want to flip it quickly because they think that they're in elementary. No, it's 3 minus 5. That's what the problem is. What's the 3? Positive. What's the 5? What? What did I just tell you that subtraction does to that 5? Makes it negative. I just told you that here in the back, guys. That 5 makes it a what? Good morning. Negative. Questions? So, are the signs the same or different? Different. Do you understand? Who's still confused why that 5 is a negative? Because in life, when we subtract points from your test, when we subtract pounds from your weight, that is negative. That is, you're losing. Okay, when we subtract from your bank account, you're not gonna say, "Oh," but you're not gonna tell your wife, "Oh, honey, guess what? We have a positive gain." No, you don't. We just spent $20 in groceries. That is not a positive. When we subtract, that is a negative. Questions? Okay. So, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Pues vamos a apuntar la rule. What's the rule? Div. Why is it div? Why is it div? Because they're different. One is positive, the other one is what? Negative. And what do you do when they're different? Subtract. And who do you keep when they're different? The greatest absolute value. Always write the rules over and over again. Because if not, se te van a olvidar. Okay. When you subtract these, treat them like positives. Who's the number 5? And this guy is who? 3. What's 5 minus 3? Olvídate de todo ahorita. Nomás 5 minus 3. 2. That's step 1. Subtract. Step 2. Keep the greatest absolute value. What's the absolute value of 3? 3. No, it's not negative 3. That would be the opposite. What's the absolute value of 3? 3. How far is 3 from 0? 3. It's never negative. It's distance. What's the absolute value of negative 5? 5. Who had the highest absolute value? 5. Right? And what is he? So what is this guy going to stay? Negative. Let me make sense of this story so you can see. So, Brayson, you don't mind me using you as an example? Good. So Brayson has $3 in his pocket right now. Okay? And he's playing outside because he already finished my homework. Very responsible young man. He did all my strategies too. He has $3 in his pocket y de repente se oyen ricos elotes, elotes calientes con limón, mayonesa, chile y queso. Y el president dice, oh, I want elote. And then he has his girlfriend there. Ah, mira el Brayson con su girlfriend ahí. Okay. Se llama Tiburcia. Le dice, ay, Tiburcita, ¿quieres un elotito? Dijo, ay, sí, mi amor. So ya se arranca el Brayson to the elotero y dijo, sí, quiero 2 elotes en vaso. Échale todo con chile, limón, mayonesa, chile y queso. Okay. Y ya le dice, señor, pues 2.50 cada uno, $5. ¿Eh? How much does he have? $3. But he's gonna spend how much? 5. Now here's what's gonna happen here. Because el elotero conoce muy bien a su mamá. Not that way, sir. This guy's staring me real ugly already. No, sir, I don't mean it that way. That's why I asked you if you're okay. You're okay, right? Good. It's not a bad story. But el lotero conoce bien a tu mamá. Y le dice, mira, Brayson, nomás porque conozco a tu mamá muy bien. Te lo voy a fiar. Págame los $3. So this guy had how much? Three. But he spent how much? Five. So guess what? He owes $2. Because he spent more than what he what? Had. That's why this is possible in life. As a matter of fact, the banks do that too. Thank you, sir. So next time que pase el elotero, next time que pase el elotero, ricos elotes, elotes calientes. Y también tenemos aguas bien fritas para ahorita este tiempo. Tenemos el melón pa'l pelón. I don't know what he says, right? He says something like that, right? Aguas de melón pa'l pelón y que no sé qué. I don't know, that guy. Yo lo oigo el vato. Okay. Now he wants un agua fresca de tamarindo. Okay. También me de tamarindo, el agua de tamarindo, que no sé qué. And that one is $2. So va el Brazen rápido. ¿Me das un agua de tamarindo? Espérate, si me debes, ¿qué? $2. Dame los $2 y vas a agarrar agua de la banguera, mijo. Que ya. I know your mom, pero no tan bien así. Okay. So yeah. You know what I mean? Now, in the real life, the banks allow you to do this too. If I only have $50 in my account, let's pretend, and I go to Walmart because I have to buy some Pampers for my daughter and some milk and bastantes cosas. Y me sale $80. When I run the card, some banks will let you still run it. Some banks son malos and they'll say decline, and then ahí estás tú toda la línea ahí y te dice la lady, I'm sorry, sir. It says that you don't have enough funds. No pasó. Y estás tú ahí. No, pues quítame los pañales, quítame la leche, todo, todo. So some banks do that to you, but some banks are nice and say, you know what, if that happens to you, it's okay, Oliver. It's okay. Run the card. We're not gonna embarrass you in front of everybody. That everybody's gonna know, okay, you don't have any funds in the bank anymore. And he has how much in the bank? 50. And he spent how much? 80. So how much will he have now in the bank? Negative 30. He owes the banks what? $30. Okay, so when he gets his statement, it's gonna say negative 30. Really, they're gonna also charge you a fee because no te lo hacen de buen corazón. Te hacen para sacarte dinero más. So instead of having negative 30, he's going to have negative 40 because you're going to charge him $10 fee for doing that favor for him para que no se avergüence en frente de todos. You understand? This is possible. Okay, so never flip them. Flip them once you're ready to subtract. You can flip them, but treat them like positives, but then go back to my rule. Any questions? Let me prove to you that this is true. Draw a number line. Thank you, Brayson. How much do we go on the right side? At least how much? Number 4. Ay. Do you know why at least 4? Because what's the most that we get positive? 3. So I just like to always add 1. How about to the left side, negative world? Ese sí 6, con unos 6 siquiera. Ya están agarrando la onda de la number line. Okay, starting at 0, I gain how much? 3. Para la derecha, that means that you have money. You have $3. But then, you spend how much? 5. So look, I like to start from here, look. And so I can just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y luego ya dale más o menos derechito para acá. You could even do little dots to get there. And now send it that way. You lost 5. That's losing 5. Where did you end up at? 2, that's what? Negative. That's why you answer negative 2. Let's prove it with an interchange table. We have negative and we have positive. And how many negatives do we have? How many negatives? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many positives? 3. 1, 2, 3. How many zero pairs are we going to make here? 3. Yeah, zero pair, that's 1. Zero pair, that's 2. Zero pair, that's 3. What's left over only? 2 that are what? Negatives. That's the way this works. Finally, the last example is more like an elementary one, but I would still do the rule. 8 minus 2. That one is simple because the positive is in the front, right? What's 8 minus 2? That one's so easy.
Teachers, at
6.
this moment, please post your attendance.
Okay? But you can follow the rule of positive, negative. The signs are different, so I'm going to what? Subtract and keep the highest absolute value. You don't have to draw a number line here. I just wanted to show you that. When you have a subtraction, it's still negative and positive, guys. Now the next page, I'm going to give you the problems. Just copy them the way I'm telling you to copy them. Rápido. We're just going to copy. These are the problems for homework. And don't leave space because we're going to do it on the bottom and on the next page if you need to. Like not on the next page, but in the back page. Don't go to the next page because we're doing the notes journal. Don't leave space. Aquí nomás. It's going to be here in the video also. I'm going to post it. Be very careful with number 8. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to do number 9 with you so you can know how I expect the work. So this is the homework 1 through 9. I'm going to just do one for you because I think that you should be able to handle it. You have the notes plus this video. So I'm going to do number 9. So you're going to write number 9, circle it the way I always make you do it. Write the question, which is 5 plus negative 3. Now analyze the facts. Who's the 5? Positive. Who's the 3? Negative. Same or diff? You only have 2 rules that I've taught you. Same or diff? Diff. Why would you say same? Look, there's a positive and a what? That's not same, that's diff. So let's put diff. Diff reminds you of the word difference, and in elementary, difference means to what? Subtract. And who are you going to keep at the end? Greatest absolute value. Okay? Questions? So now let's do it. What's 5 minus 3? Because we're subtracting. 2. Who wins? Positive or negative? Positive. Who has the highest absolute value? The 5 or the negative 3? So that's why positive wins. Done. Now, to prove it, you're going to also draw a number line for me. So, ese deja espacio arriba porque es donde... So, aquí vamos a draw a number line. So, once you get the answer, you're not done. How much do I go to the right side? At least 5, but you can go to 6. At least 5, but you can go to 6. If no te cabe, párate en 5. You know why at least 5? You see that 5? Positive? I need to go at least 5. How much do you go to the left side at least? ¿Cuánto le doy? At least 3, but I like to always go to the next one. But you're right. Where do you begin in number lines? Where do you begin? At 0. Make a mark there. Do we travel to the right or to the left first? Look at the first number. To the right. How much do you travel? 5. So let's make a mark here and let's travel. Question with that part. But then I'm adding negatives. So am I supposed to continue going to the right? No, we're going to go to the left because I'm adding negatives. I'm adding losses. So I'm going to put a mark here. And how much did we lose? So from 5, let's lose 3. 1, 2, 3. So aquí queda más o menos aquí. travel that way, show the direction for Mr. Rivera. I lost 3 because I added losses. That means I just lost. Where did you end up at? At 2, mira, aquí está. At 2. Positive or negative? Positive. You didn't end up on the other side. You didn't lose that many. You had $5 and you lost $3, so you still have money. How else can you prove it now? You're going to go to the other side and do a chip table. Who's on the left side of 0? Negatives. Who are on the right side of 0? Positives. Okay, this line could be like your 0. Para que practiques eso también. How many positives do I draw? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many negatives do I draw? 1, 2, 3. How many 0 pairs do you see there? 3. 1 0 pair, 2 0 pairs, 3 0 pairs. 0 pair means that they became 0, they became nothing, they're gone. What's left there only? And they're what? Does everything match? I did a great job. And now I'm ready to go to number 1 or whatever you want to do. Now, if you don't have enough space to do on 8 here, you're not going to go to the next page. You're going to go behind it. So you just check on the way, you copy it and do it. Just quickly before we leave, I'm going to be nice to you. Let's talk about the rules. Just by looking at it, do you think this is going to be same or diff? Good job. Same or diff? Same, guys, because the minus makes them a what? Esta es la que me preocupa bastante, siempre. This guy is negative, but the minus makes him a what? A negative. So it's really what? Same. What's this guy? Div. What's this one? Same. There's the negative and there's the negative. And you're probably thinking, but there's a plus, but there's a negative there. So it's same. This guy. Same? What's the 3? What's the 3? And what's the 8? Because of the minus. So is it same or diff? Diff. This guy. Diff. This guy. Diff. This guy. Same. And that one? Diff. We just did it. Now, if you forget, I can go to my notes. I have examples of what looks like same and what looks like what? Diff. So you don't mess up. Tomorrow when you come in, you're going to go into the laptop, look for the ghost. Tomorrow the emoji is going to be a ghost. And you're going to answer all the answers. Now, my choices might be a number line. My choices might be a interchange table or just a number. So I will have different choices purposely to make sure that you did them all. So don't just do it one way and say, I'm done. Because then when you come tomorrow with a laptop, you might not just have the choice of 2. You might have the number line instead of the choice of 2. You might have the interchange table instead of the choice of 2. Do you understand what I'm saying? So please make sure that you prove your answer, whatever you. Please be careful. I'm always scared of this ones, guys. Let me do it one here quickly. I'm always scared of this one. Look, kids want to put this guy as diff, but look what's in front of that one, a negative. So he's negative. Now this is a subtraction symbol, which makes the 4 a what? Negative. So the rule is really what? Same. And what does the 8 tell you to do? What does the 8 tell you to do? Add. And the E? Keep. So what does that mean? I'm going to get these 2 and I'm going to what? Add. Which is 7. And the E? Keep. Negative. Negative. Keep it what? Negative. And then I can prove it in my number line. It's just going to go loss, loss. Right? When it's same, it's just going to go boom, boom. When it's div, it's going to go boom and then go reverse, or boom and then go reverse. That's how we get the 0 pairs. Questions? Watch the video if I'm confused. Your homework is 1 through 8. Guys, some of you are already not in good shape with the first 3 weeks. You don't want to start the last 3 weeks. They're going to help you pass the 6 weeks wrong with something that I think is pretty easy, especially if you look at your notes and you make sense of what's going on. I think you're going to be fine. Okay? Okay, let's stop the little video, 40-minute video.